I've got one more minute.
Just in time.
That's what I like to do.
We were about to skip you.
Oh. Is it 500 459?
Hey, we're good. Good.
There's a good article in the paper this morning about delay to the reval. I just think that's going to happen.
One day is nice.
How many more things will we have? Who is up next? You are.
Everyone can do your last. You are. Yeah. There you go. All right. All right, welcome everybody. It's August 6th already. Summer is officially over, by the way. And I'm Tyler Ward with us, our fellow select board members, Bill Kennedy, Bill Taylor, Nicole McStay, our town administrator, and Allie Coynes, our assistant to the town administrator. Seth McLean, deputy town administrator, right? No.
Yeah, that works.
Assistant town administrator, right, you're assistant too, you're assistant, plus you're the head of the DPW. He's in the audience, he's gonna probably be involved here at some point. We are online and on air, so enjoy the show. Tonight's agenda will meet Steve Maurice, and hopefully he'll be appointed as a new police officer. All goes well. And then we'll hear from Chris Anderson, an update and proposed skate park improvements. And then we will hear about Peterborough's municipal meters and choose to opt in for the electricity. And vote to expend some money for a mower. And then we have Conservation Commission members that are looking forward to re-upping their terms. We can appoint them. And then we'll hear about the townwide reevaluation, reschedule, and then we have minutes from July 2nd. To approve. And then after that, we'll go to a non-public session in RSA 91-A, column 3, renewal to legal advice considerations. And with that, Chief Bernard, will you be introducing Steve?
Yes.
Great.
Here this evening to introduce a new hire, Officer Stephen Maurice. Officer Maurice comes to us from another New Hampshire law enforcement agency. Graduated from the Police Academy April of this year. So he's already full-time certified, which is a blessing in our eyes. He's already began his field training with us this week. So with the hire of Stephen, in the last hire, who's currently in the Police Academy, that fills all of our full-time positions. First time in almost 10 years. So we hope to be able to retain them. That's about it. So
Welcome, Steve.
we're here to
Thank you. Welcome.
ask the select board to sign the appointment slip, which I believe is in the...
It was in the packet.
It was in the
We
packet.
authorized you to sign it, was it?
Nope, you guys have to
We
sign
actually do
it, so
sign
you guys,
Okay.
it's in the folder, you just need to make the motion and vote first.
Great. Any questions for Steve? No. And we kind of already chatted. Did anybody else? No? All right. I'd make a motion that we appoint Steve to the Peterborough Police Force.
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor? All right, great. All right, welcome
Thanks.
aboard.
Thank you,
Thank
gentlemen.
And let's see an uptick in crime so you can get right to work.
Try to prevent that.
Is that a segue into the skate park?
There you go. Well, we've already decriminalized some skateboarding in town, right?
That's right.
Recently.
That's true, yes, yes.
So, yeah, welcome aboard, and
Okay.
thank you for the hard work that you guys do.
Thank you, folks.
Cool. We can sign that. All right, thank you.
See you.
Take care.
Take care now.
All right, Chris Anderson.
Thank you very much. Just got a couple updated drawings, one here for each of the board members. Thank you very much. Give one to the town if you want, Dan, because maybe just some updated drawings there. I'm Chris Anderson. Also in the audience with me is David Stalin, who has been working with me in several, is it all right if I sit? Which I prefer to stand. Who's been working with myself and other members of the community to, over the last couple of years, it's been 2 years, roughly a year and a half actually, since I was here, and we raised about half the money and for the skate park renovations. I think a lot of questions came up between then and now, and we've been working this last year and a half to continue to raise the funds, but then to also answer some questions that came up along the way. And ultimately, we completed that fundraising. We have raised just over $50,000 for the skate park. We have found a contractor to do the work. That contractor has submitted for and pulled a permit with the town. We have an approved permit here. And we have, at this point, we're here to basically ask the select board to authorize the staff in the town to negotiate the contract details, the finer details of the contract with that contractor so that we can begin the work. And in front of you are just some drawings showing the proposed work. It involves moving over the 3 existing facilities, as shown in white there, I think, on the color drawing, shifting those to the side, and then installing 4 new features made of concrete and steel. And again, with the goal of the park being to bring in some smaller features for sort of younger kids, newer skateboarders, and maybe even some of the older fathers in the audience who still ride their skateboards. We've gotten a lot of community support for the project. We've got fundraising from several local businesses, from the Kiwanis Group, from over 20 different community members making personal donations, and the Melinda Adams Fund allocated $10,000 to the project. And so it's great that we're able to sort of pull together the rest of the funds in order to create what we think will be a benefit to the park. We also, at the June 5th meeting with the Peterborough Recreation Committee, and in those minutes, which I think unfortunately have not been approved because that meeting is tomorrow, but it's in the minutes and they will ratify, is that the word? Those minutes tomorrow, that they approved $5,000 from the Isabella Miller Fund for programming, which ultimately they're hoping to, they're in support of this park bringing, more kids out to the park and creating some programming around that. So with that, we have all the funds, and they're aware of the maintenance funds, the operations and maintenance fund, or costs per se, of roughly $2,500 every 3 years to sort of caulk and seal and things. And so they're aware of those funds and accepting of the project with that sort of being, for them to bear.
Would those funds come out of the recreation revolving fund? Is that where it would come?
Those details I'm not sure of.
Probably
but-
not. It would probably come out of the general fund portion of the rec budget. It's for maintenance and upkeep of the grounds and facilities.
And so I think, with that, I'll stop and ask if there's any questions or if Seth has anything to add.
No, I mean, I could add that, ask Tim to be here if there's any questions about construction details. He worked closely with the contractor, Tail Block. They out of Keene, Chris?
They're out of Brattleboro.
Okay, Brattleboro. So if there's any questions there, Tim's here, ask him to be here tonight, but otherwise, that's Chris. Just to reiterate, if you're accepting of the project, accepting of the funds, I think Nicole needs to fill in the blanks on what that looks like, because we need to have the money in hand in order to move forward with the contractor.
Sure.
That would be authorization to negotiate and then eventually execute an agreement with Tail Block to move forward. And I think the hope still is to try to get that done before the end of the fall at this point.
That's right.
Just in time for snow. Have we explored liabilities to the town?
Yes.
More, it's the same liability as a skate park that we already have existing, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's,
true.
we're not really, so long as it's built to a standard, that, is generally accepted, it's really a use-at-your-own-risk type facility, like many of our, like Cunningham Pond is a use-at-your-own-risk and so on.
You know, about lighting, are you planning on any lighting there?
Currently, this is the first sort of phase of what we hope to be a bigger project. We hope that this brings out a bunch of people, and then there would be an opportunity to do additional fundraising for maybe even further expansion of features, addition of lighting. The current budget for the project is $49,000. We have over $1,000. We have $1,100 extra that's raised. We have a website that's created with a donate button. So if more funds do come in, perhaps we can use that for adding lighting to the existing poles that are there, or spinning that around. I'm sure there'll be some cost to that, but at this point we're calling it a little contingency fund. But we'll see what we continue to raise funds. At this point, obviously, using the 12 hours of daylight we have, is...
12?
What's that?
12?
We had 12? 8 to 8?
Well,
A couple days every year, maybe. Sorry. Yeah, so we'll see if there's another.
Well, I gotta commend you for all the time and energy you put into this project, to no compensation yourself, right? So,
Thank you.
appreciate that.
It's gonna skate over there, are you kidding?
I know.
I think it's taken so long, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be able to ride it.
Yeah.
The joints are going.
That's great.
The only correction I'd make, Ally, is the Eddie Adams Memorial Fund.
Oh, I apologize.
Not Melinda. Melinda probably just administers it.
that's great.
That, yeah, and actually.
Eddie was one of the original people that got the park started way, way back.
And there is the.
And he's since passed away.
And there's the Adam Nation Ames
Yeah.
Memorial Bench.
Yeah.
Here, it's an image of that. That'll be donated. It's been sitting over at Peterborough Granite. That'll be, is drawn in there, sort of, to be located, but somewhere on the northern side of the park.
Cool.
He was another one, they were the same age.
Is John donating that bench?
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
And also, make sure Friends of Peterborough Rec has been involved in the fundraising
Yes.
as well. And Key and Kate sits on both the Peterborough Rec Committee and the Friends of Peterborough Rec. So I know that you've been instrumental in collecting all the donations and holding them on behalf of the towns.
Right, and that's what
Yeah,
we'll wait to, you tell us how to write
exactly.
the check to the town,
Yeah.
that then you'll send to the contractor.
Yeah, so after select board approval, once we've, negotiated the contract, and we have that all squared away, we'll set up a public hearing for probably, I'm hoping the first meeting of September, assuming we get everything squared away before then, which I think we should be able to. And we'll be able to, accept those donations, the town will be able to accept those donations, and we'll be able to move this right along.
Great, so we don't have to vote on it tonight, we'll do that at.
We can't do it tonight, unfortunately. We have to wait until, we've had, the public postings and whatnot. But that's really where the Friends of Peterborough Rec has come in. They've been able to collect the funds without waiting for a selectmen's meeting to accept them. So it's been hugely helpful.
So,
Well,
thank
we
you.
already approved setting up the fund
Yep.
years ago.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyhow, thanks.
Thank you for.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thanks.
And yeah, there's So I apologize, I know that they, Friends of Peterborough Rec sent over some checks already to the town, so you have those, and it's just allocating them to the
I
project.
think you're holding on
I'm
to,
yeah.
yep,
Oh,
I
you
haven't
still-
sent anything over.
haven't sent
Oh, okay.
anything over yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
they're holding all of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right, nicely done.
Well, I hope you're planning on grand open at some point. September.
We haven't got that far yet, but,
Shine up your helmet, Bill.
yeah, exactly.
I'll go find my safety skateboard now.
Smash a few monster drinks.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a lot of, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of community members excited about the project, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of event to go along with it. So.
Great. All right, well, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Once again, another gift to the town, but our neighbors, yeah.
So it would help administratively and to keep things moving if you could consider voting on allowing us to
Oh.
enter into discussions and
Oh,
eventually get a
right.
contract established with Hill Block.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Good call, thank you. Excellent.
he's the man.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, thanks, Katie, thanks, everyone involved.
Thanks, Select Board.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Is there going to be any charge to the people who use it, as there is a charge for the Peterborough pool? And I only ask that because I've had several parents lament about not being able to afford their children to go to the pool.
No, there will be no charge for that. It's also important that if you've heard from parents that they haven't been able to afford the pool, we do have a scholarship program for families who can't afford pool passes. They just need to contact Julie over at the rec office. and
Okay,
she'll
they
help
weren't
them out.
aware of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if anyone complains to me again,
Yeah,
I'll
just let
certainly
them
make them
know.
aware.
Yep, let them know
Thank
that
you.
we do have a scholarship program.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. All right, up next, who will be presenting our Peterborough Community Power information?
Well,
Thanks,
so
Chris. I'll be in touch.
we have already received this information. This is the same rates that were presented to you by the Peterborough Community Power
Thanks.
Committee. What we're actually talking about is just the municipal bills. So we're coming towards the end of our current contract with Standard Power, so I did, what town administrators do. Started making some phone calls. I asked a number of vendors, can you please provide us, supply us with some rates to consider for, once this contract expires. Community Power of New Hampshire were the only respondents, and so
Standard Power didn't respond?
they did not in time, unfortunately. So,
Interesting.
Community Power of New Hampshire, Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire are the respondents. So really, it's just come down to choosing. You do have, of course, the other option is going with the default utility. I did not actually reach out to Eversource since I already knew that their rates are their rates. So there's really no negotiating there. But our default supplier for all the residents of Peterborough is Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire. Because we're a municipality, they're not a default supplier for us. We're considered a large customer, so we essentially have to opt in. But once we do opt in, those are the rates we'll have to choose from.
Now, hasn't the town already committed to a 100% renewable policy up until this point?
We have 100% renewables through RECs, yes. So we purchase RECs as part of our energy contract.
Right.
Typically, I'm not sure if we did that with this past one, just because the cost was so extremely high, as you recall.
Oh,
We were
so we're not the
negotiating.
greenest town in New Hampshire anymore?
We're still greener.
We're still pretty clean, we're still very green, so. The majority of our electricity actually comes from net metering from our own solar array. Most of the electricity that we use, all of our largest meters draw from that net metering agreement. And in fact, those largest meters will not be part of this because they will continue to be net metered through that program with our own solar array. So this is really what will apply to the rest of the buildings, for instance, the rec office, the police station, essentially the smaller meters will all be at this rate, whatever rate you choose.
Choosing that rate right now?
Yes, wouldn't mind.
Are you of a mind 100%?
I would like to put our money where our mouths are.
I support that.
Anybody want to talk us out of that? Or
Well, I know. That's a massive difference in electric bills that everybody will have to be a part of. That's
I
all
will say that-
6,400 people.
Well, this is just the town's municipal
Yeah, I know.
meters.
It's
Everyone
still
else
significant.
is gonna default automatically to the 9.3 cents per kilowatt hour. And remember, this is only on the supply side of the bill. Eversource will still charge their default distribution delivery charge to everybody. We have no control over that.
Do we have the number of the town's average usage kilowatt hour?
Do not have that, no. And like, again, this is just our municipal meters, it's not your home meters or anything like that. So it's just, like I said, the police station, the rec office, the, street lights, those are what we're talking about right now.
And so up until whenever it was last year, when we did have a 100% renewable buying of bricks,
Yeah.
what was the kilowatt rate?
The prior contract was 8.3 cents per kilowatt hour. That was before the war in Ukraine started and all that, and we ended up going into a multi-year contract, seeking stability, but it was much higher than what the going rate is now. So regardless of what rate you choose, even if you go with a clean 100, we do have the budget to support that, because we're currently budgeted at a higher rate.
Well, that's different. I still feel like we should be doing everything to save taxpayer money. Again,
Well, I see it in context of at what expense. It's a trade-off. We can either go clean 100 and have 100% renewable source for the electricity, as I've supported through PrEP and my participation in community power. But the trade-off is that if we don't support it that way, we're not going to see increases in the amount of sustainable energy that's going to be available to us. Now, that all said, if we go with the Peterborough local, there is a adder to that will go into funds that town could use to do energy projects locally. And that would benefit us in a couple ways.
That is true.
One would be is that it would be reduce the amount of money that we pay for electricity, and second, we would be supporting local projects.
and it goes into a fund that we can use.
Right.
For instance,
Right.
putting solar panels on the fire department or something.
Right. Exactly.
That's less than 1/4 of the renewable energy.
Yes, I know. And in fact, it's even less than that. That's your goal, but it depends, so.
And don't we have a mandate from our constituents to with the renewable energy goal in a certain amount of time?
Yes, 2030.
2030. And that's
2030.
including houses and businesses and everything, right?
Yes.
That's their goal.
Yep,
And that was voted in overwhelmingly, wasn't
85%.
yep.
I should mention that 85% of the folks who do the default, they just don't pay attention. But I really do support the 100%.
Well, I mean, there you have it, they tell you, so.
How often can we change this? This is a one and done?
No, you
No.
can change it anytime.
Every 6 months.
No, you can change it anytime you want.
We
Yeah,
will
you
be
can.
signing 6-month contracts with CPC and HBM too as a larger consumer. So
Well,
we can
that's-
certainly revisit this.
Well, they change the rates every 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's not a long time.
no.
I truly feel like we have, we put our money where our mouth is. We have to.
It'd be nice to know what the difference in
Ye-
cost
Yeah.
would be.
I get that completely. But when you turn on a light, how do you know that that was generated from a solar power, from a solar
Of course you
panel?
don't.
If they all come from the same electric wires?
Of course you don't, but it's more of a statement that this is what people are requesting, this is what people want. They want to go toward renewables.
What you are doing by purchasing regs is ensuring that that energy is entering the system somewhere. It may not necessarily be here, but there is a guarantee that that energy is being generated somewhere and is entering the system somewhere.
Yeah, but if tomorrow everybody in the state signed up for Clean 100, you can't tell me that 100% of the energy is going to be clean.
And actually, it's a good problem to have. The clean energy market is at that point where there's getting to the point where there aren't enough RECs being generated, and so they're looking for more people to be producing green energy RECs. So, you know, it's out there, you know, and it's developing, so it's good.
Now, another interesting fact is that the vast majority of the electricity being generated in the state of New Hampshire happens in Salem, nuclear.
Yep.
Yeah, how come they don't have about 100% nuclear?
It could default to Eversource. It would more or less get you there.
Well, I see 6 months. We can see how it goes. If it's ridiculous and it's really hurting, then we can change our minds and see what the new rates are.
Yeah. Can we get those rate differences?
Sure.
Well, what the difference would be if we were at 8.6 to 12 or 9.3 to 12?
Yeah, keeping in mind that
That's significant.
we're not starting until November, so we do have some time. If you want us to run some numbers, we can do that too.
It'd be interesting to know what the gross value might be.
Okay.
I mean, if it's tens of thousands of dollars versus,
So the difference between the Peterborough local and the Clean 100, is that what you're
That would
looking
be
for?
good.
Okay,
that would be good.
all right, we can do that.
So it'd be pretty easy. Just get the total of kilowatt hours spent.
Nowhere near as easy as you think it is, but it can be done, yeah.
Well, I mean, we
Yeah.
have forms all the time that say what we use on them.
We do.
Every month, you get a statement.
Yeah, but it's going through, I mean, we have 30-something meters, so it's going through all of those meters and pulling those numbers.
No.
So it is a lot of work, but it can be done, so it's just going to take a little bit of time to do it.
So is the request that we'd like to know the difference between what the town would spend using Clean 100 and what the town would spend using Peterborough local?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just total kilowatt hours for any given year,
On average, really. Because, yeah.
even if it's a month. You know.
And then we could easily compute how much money would actually go into that fund if we go with
Yeah.
Peterborough local.
Yes.
Because it's a 0.02 adder or something like that.
Yep.
But does zero from Clean 100 go into that fund?
Nothing will go into the Peterborough fund, right? I think it's just the Peterborough
Just the Peterborough local.
Yeah, it's the only one that contributes to the
That
fund.
seems strange.
We didn't put an adder on that. You had to put a quote adder onto it, add on an extra cost.
Yeah, but between 8.6% and 9.3 is the adder, right? Because
That's
we're in a
right.
big.
Well, for that one, but you would think if you're Clean 100, then something would be going towards that fund.
No, unfortunately, no.
Those are the ones in green there that you see. Those are the default rates that are being offered by CBC&H. And so the Peterborough Community Power Committee had to choose to add on an adder. And so they chose the lowest rate just to try it out, essentially.
That's smart because that's pretty much what everybody's going to use anyways.
More than likely, yeah. Make that the default option for everyone.
But
I mean, Riverview Apartments isn't going with Clean 100 for their apartments.
No.
I dare say Ball Bearing won't either.
I'm sure they've got a little bit different contracts than what we're negotiating.
All right, well, we'll get that back to you.
That'd be great. Thank you.
A big mower.
It's
Better be.
a boom attachment for our new John Deere, so this is sort of some administrative housekeeping for finance director, like, getting your approval on the expenditure, because this would come from capital reserve. Getting the minutes in advance helps keeps things tidy. So this is, like I said, it's for our new John Deere tractor. This is like a boom mower, has the arm on it. Ours, as Bill probably knows, went out of commission. Our staff was able to limp it along for a period of time, and we used our backup sidewalk tractor for roadside mowing. Unfortunately, both the backup sidewalk tractor, which is why we talked about the purchase of a new John Deere, at least one of the reasons, and the mower attachment are no good to us anymore. Guys did a great job sort of limping those along and doing a lot of mowing with it, but they're out of commission at this point. So the request is for the $36,927.60, which will allow us to buy the boom mower, which gets us back into in-house roadside mowing with our new tractor.
When you first brought the whole new tractor idea to us, was that $37,000 included in that?
No, it was not. Our original John Deere, because we had the backup sidewalk tractor, and Tim at the time felt that that mower could limp along, but unfortunately, with this season, it's done. It came with the field mower, so we can do landfills, but it didn't come with the attachment. So this is an addition to, so he came to me with this request. I asked him to go to the finance director, make sure the capital reserve could support this without putting us off track for our other capital purchases in the coming years. She confirmed that we have the money to do this now, so we bring it to you for your consideration.
How many packets of wildflower seed could you buy with $37,000?
All of them.
It might be able to blanket.
Anyone that's available.
Instead of mowing the sides of the roads.
Well,
Let's get some pretty flowers.
this isn't just grass, this is all the brush trimmed back too around signs.
It'd be.
Many motorists disagree.
Well,
Yes, they do.
what is the issue? Sightlines? Are people scratching the sides of their cars? They drive too close to this stuff? What is their?
All of the above.
Well, this stuff all leans into the road when it gets covered with snow and becomes issues.
We do have an
for
obligation
guys,
to push
for
the-
people, for fire
Trim,
departments.
to push brush out of the right of way.
Just checking.
At one point, we used to hire this work out. We brought it back in-house thanks to our staff being able to kind of revive the old mower, but as I said, that mower is no good to us anymore. So the options are purchase, or we end up back in contract situations, renting machinery or hiring out for the mowing.
Okay, that's fair.
Better not wreck that thing.
We do need a motion, yes.
I'd make a motion to approve the expenditure from the Fleet Management Capital Reserve Fund in the amount of $36,927 and not more than 60 cents.
Tractor?
Anybody? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, here you have it.
You come mow my lawn now?
Might not do the prettiest job on
You might want to wait for.
I don't have the
till-
prettiest lawn.
You might want to wait till they don't want to use it.
Yeah, that's true. Might take a few pushes out.
Okay, all of those Conservation Commission members have been involved for years, and they've re-upped, and I would make the motion to reappoint them all as members and alternate members.
Second.
All those in
How
favor?
often do they meet?
Once a month, usually.
Is it a month?
Sometimes they'll have to have a special meeting when there's something at planning board that needs a, you know,
Oh, right.
a consultant.
And you're the liaison, right?
Yeah, great. And they are top-notch. They know what they're talking about. They're very concerned about, you know, the Earth's well-being and, you know, all of us taxpayers. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Who seconded that?
Me.
Yep. All right. Is Ally gonna break the sad news to us about the
Devastating.
townwide revaluation?
The short version.
Frustrating, yes. Initially, I was frustrated when I found out that we were going to have to reschedule the townwide revaluation, originally planned for this year to 2025. And then I realized that there's probably lots of taxpayers that will be pretty pleased to hear that this is going
At
to be
least for this year.
pushed off a year anyway. So all of you know the reason for the delay, but it's related to our new software. We got lots of confidence from our vendor that the conversion would go really quickly, really smoothly, because they had lots of experience with the software that we have now. But we found out once the process was underway that they had ample experience with a version of the software we have, but not the software we have specifically. So much of the mapping that they thought they were going to be able to use, they could not use. Which meant there was a lot more work that needed to be done. So we had hopes that we were going to get it in March and then in May, and then when June came around and they were still picking at things that needed to be fixed, Mary Beth understandably started to get nervous because there is so much work that goes into a townwide revaluation. So then last month, you know, she said there is no way that we are going to be able to get a reval done in a timely manner. And if we have the choice of doing all this work the right way and doing it later versus trying to get it in under the wire and being faced with issues, it makes more sense to put it off. It makes more sense for our taxpayers. It makes more sense for assessing staff. It just makes more sense to wait until 2025 to do that work and know that we have functional software. So yes, initially I was bummed, but I think many people are probably a little relieved.
So who has to pay for all this extra work that had to go into it?
Well, because we were under the impression that they were going to be able to deliver a finished product to us with plenty of time to do the reval, and then they didn't. We suggested that we wait to pay them for the product until we can use the product for its intended initial purpose, which is the revaluation. So they're putting a service change together so that we aren't going to incur any additional expense, and we are going to wait until we have a working product in hand to pay them for it.
Because we were under contract with them, they pay us.
Correct.
Yep. Yep, but they were, yeah.
Just checking.
We suggested a solution and they were amenable to that, and Mary Beth was in support, so.
You put a lot of time and effort into this project to notify the community that we were going to get reassessed, and don't panic, and here we are.
And here we are.
We're gonna have to do that all over again next year.
Well, I look at this as an opportunity to let more people know.
That's true.
I now have more time to get the word out and to talk to people and educate people about why it needs to be done. And actually, it occurred to me that this very reason is kind of a great example of why sometimes it's a good idea to do a revaluation before you hit the 5-year maximum. Because had we waited till year 5 and then we're in this situation, it would be profoundly more complicated and sticky. So because we have that breathing room, it means that we're not faced with that debacle. So it's kind of in our favor.
I'm just worried about the fallout next year.
Well, whatever, it's not
Nothing
still
we
the
can do
same.
about it.
Yeah, 0 we can do about it.
We'll see. All right, thanks for that update, Ally. Great work on that. And then we had minutes from July 2nd. I make a motion that we approve those as written. Nicely done. All those in favor?
Right.
Aye. All right, that brings us to a close. Do we have anything else to add before we go into our non-public?
Who, you guys just here for the fun of it?
They're here for the
Here for the non-public.
Oh, that's a shame.
You're telling me.
All right, I'd make that motion. We go into the non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, and that is reference to consideration of legal advice and reputation.
Second.